Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto our elders and apostles of GMS, a great millstone who teach and rule well. Shalom, shalom. And this is Brother Nabala here with another lesson. All right. And, this through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I was just, here on Chat GPT, and I just typed in, what will happen if Trump invaded Greenland? All right. And pretty much, this goes to show you, all right, Revelations 17:6, all right, on its way, is being fulfilled, right in front of our eyes. All right. So it says, if Donald Trump ordered a U.S. invasion of Greenland, the consequences will be severe, immediate, and global. All right. It says below is a clear geopolitical breakdown, not speculations, hype, but how states, laws, and alliances would realistically react, right? It says immediate legal and diplomatic fallout. All right, Denmark's response. All right, it says Greenland, all right, is a autonomous territory of Denmark. Denmark is a NATO member, right? So Denmark is a NATO member, right? And Greenland, all right, is a territory of Denmark. It says an invasion. It says armed attack on a NATO ally, right? And it says Denmark would immediately invoke Article 5. All right. Now, Article 5 is pretty much, you attack one NATO member, you attack all, which is going to say here. All right. It says the NATO Article 5 dilemma, right? It says Article 5 says an attack or one is an attack on all. All right. So if Donald Trump chooses to invade, all right, Greenland, all right, that's, going to cause, NATO to invoke, Article 5, man. All right. And NATO, it ain't going to have a choice. All right. But to retaliate, all right, to Babylon the Great. All right. Which, America, all right, is, a part of NATO as well. All right. But, Babylon, invading Greenland is totally going against, Babylon's allies, man. All right, NATO. All right. It says, this will be the first time a NATO country attacked another NATO country. All right. So this would be, the first time another NATO country attacked another NATO country. All right. It says likely outcomes: emergency NATO summit, massive internal split. Some NATO members may refuse to support the U.S. There you go, man. You see, some NATO members may refuse to support the U.S. All right, that sounds like Revelation 17:16, man. It says others may sanction or diplomatically isolate the U.S. NATO could fracture or collapse outright, right? All right, this is the global condemnation and sanctions, United Nations. It says emergency UN Security Council meeting near universal condemnation. The U.S. would veto binding resolutions, but the UN legitimacy of the U.S. would collapse. It says America will be labeled as the aggressive state, man. All right. You can't, Esau Edom. That's what he's known for, man. Esau Edom is known, for invading other countries, man. All right. The scriptures tell you, man, that he what is it in Habakkuk, that he transgressed by wine. Matter of fact, let's just get that because I don't want to butcher it. Let's see. I know it's Habakkuk 2. Here we go. It says, also because he transgressed by wine, all right, through his policies, his philosophies, all right, through his westernization. It says he is a proud man. You right? Esau Edom is that proud man. It says neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. So that's what Esau Edom does, man. All right, Esau Edom goes into these other countries, sets up his military, takes the resources. All right, that's the wickedness. All right, that's the mindset of Esau Edom. All right. It says sanctions. It says EU wide sanctions likely. It says trade restrictions. It says arms embargo pressure, frozen assets abroad. It says the U.S. would face sanctions similar to Russia after Ukraine. It says though enforcement would vary. 4, it says military reality on the ground. It says Greenland's strategic value. It says dual space already hosts U.S. forces. It says U.S. doesn't need invasion to operate there. Denmark allows U.S. presence legally. All right, so you see what I'm saying? You see, and we just read that. You see, there's already U.S. bases out there already. It says military pointless, politically catastrophic. It says if force were used, Danish resistance symbolic but real. European naval and air deployments, Arctic militarization spikes instantly. It says Russia and China would exploit it. All right. It says Russia, right, uses it as proof NATO is hypocritical. All right, because that's what Russia would do. All right, if NATO attacked another NATO country. All right, Russia would use that as proof that NATO is hypocritical. It says justifies expansion in Arctic and Eastern Europe, increases military pressure in Scandinavia. Right, China pushes anti-U.S. global narrative. All right, expands influence in Africa, Latin America, Asia, and accelerates the de-dollarization efforts. It says U.S. loses moral high ground permanently, man. All right. So pretty much, the U.S. is finna lose, that their power. All right. It says economic consequences. All right, for Americans, stock market will crash, dollar volatility, high energy and import costs, Arctic shipping routes destabilized. All right, loss of EU trade privileges. All right, it says average Americans will feel it within a week. All right, so that's going to be the consequences, man, of Donald Trump. All right, sending the military to invade Greenland. All right, the people here in America. All right, they're going to feel the effects of that. All right. Domestic U.S. fallout. It says constitutional crisis. Congress likely move to block funding. Massive protest. All right. Impeachment proceeding. Military leadership resistance possible. Civil military tensions would rise sharply, man. All right. And massive protests is going to take place too, man. All right, as we're seeing, all throughout Babylon the Great, we're seeing uproars of the people, or all around the world, Slovakia, all around the world. All right, and we're seeing, the uproars of people taking place. All right, you can read that in the book of 2nd Esdras 9. It says, why this will almost certainly not happen. All right, that's this is what ChatGPT is saying, but we're gonna skip all that. It says that, the Pentagon opposes it, NATO backlash too severe, no legal justification, no military necessity, no public support. The cost outweighs any strategic gain. All right. But, Donald Trump, he doesn't give a damn, though. Donald Trump's going to do what he wants to do. All right. So Donald Trump, wants to invade Greenland. All right. That's what he's going to do. All right. Without any type of conscious in his mind that there could be, consequences behind this. All right. So here's the bottom line. It says if the U.S. invades Greenland, America becomes the global aggressor. NATO likely fractures. Russia and China gain enormous leverage. The U.S. economy takes a hit. Right? Constitutional and legal chaos at home. All right. So these are just some of the things that will happen. All right. If Donald Trump chooses to invade Greenland, all right, which the main point, that I wanted to make was, that Article 5, man, all right. If Donald Trump, goes and invades, another NATO country, all right, and that Article 5 says that, if you attack one, you attack all right, and that's totally going against the grain, man. All right, Donald Trump is totally going against the grain, all right. You see, and that's going to cause a NATO member, to attack a NATO member. All right, and we read that. You know what I'm saying? That would be something that happened first time in history. All right, but it's beautiful. All right, Yahweh Shai Shai. We're seeing him. We're seeing Yahweh Shai Shai work right in front of our eyes. We're seeing these prophecies take place. All right. So let's go to the book of Revelations. Was it 17 and 16? Get straight to the point. It says, all right, and the 10 horns are which thou sawest upon the beast. All right, and those 10 horns represent NATO of the EU, right? It says, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right, so and how that's going to happen? That's going to happen through the nuclear destruction that's going to take place here, in Babylon the Great. All right. It says, for Yahweh Shai put in their hearts to fulfill his will. All right. And it says, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of Yahweh unto the word of Yahweh Shai shall be fulfilled, man. All right. So this is the will of Yahweh Shai, man. This is his will, man. His will, all right, is to have these NATO nations turn on Babylon the Great, all right, and to shoot these nuclear missiles here to destroy this place, man. All right. The book of Proverbs, man. Let's get the book of Proverbs, man. This is all the doing of Yahweh Shai. All right. Donald Trump don't even know why he's doing this, man. All right. What is it? Proverbs 21. It says, yep, the king's heart, all right, heart going into the mind, is in the hand of Yahweh Shai. All right, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will. All right. So yeah, that's the point right there. All right. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Shai, right? So Yahweh Shai is going to use these the NATO nations, all right, use Russia, China, and all these other nations to fulfill his will, man. To shoot these nuclear missiles, here in Babylon the Great and utterly destroy this place, man. All right, make this place desolate. All right, make this horde desolate. All right. Let's finish off here. Well, Revelations 18. What is it? 18 and is it 21? Yep. Revelations 18 and 21. And we'll finish off here. All right, this is just a quick hit. All right, just, prophecy is speaking, man. Let's start at verse 20. Revelations 18. All right, verse 20 says, rejoice over her. All right, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh Shai hath avenged you on her. All right, avenged too, man. Babylon the Great, that whore. All right, Babylon the Great, the whore. Okay, so we should rejoice. All right, seeing these prophecies taking place, man. All right, knowing that we're at the end of our captivity. All right, knowing that a righteous kingdom, all right, is getting ready to take place. all right, that we're gonna no longer, have to be oppressed, all right, that we no longer gonna have to be subject to payments, all right, that we're no longer gonna have to be, in this wicked ass society that we're in, man, and be, under wicked rulers, all right. Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, all right. So Yahweh Shem Shai is getting ready to judge this place, man, and it's beautiful to see these things take place. All right, it's beautiful. All right, and it says, verse 21, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, all right, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all, man. All right. And that great millstone, all right, is talking about these nuclear missiles, man. All right, that's getting ready to devour this place. All right. So, that just goes to show you, man, hey, man, Revelation 17-16, man, is literally being fulfilled right in front of our eyes, man. All right. If you have eyes to see, let them see, man. All right. You see? So it's beautiful, man. Yahweh Shai Shai had blinded, had blinded those people not to see these prophecies taking place, but Yahweh Shai Shai has given the eye salve to his elect to see these things taking place right in front of our eyes, man, and it's beautiful. All right. So, with that being said, I just pray that this short lesson was edifying to you brothers and sisters out there. I like to give our praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. All right, and double honors to our elders and apostles of GMS, a great millstone, who teach and rule well. All right, this is Brother Nabala. Until the next lesson, Shalom, Shalom.